Joining us now, Ohio Congressman and member of the House and Ways and Means Committee, Jim Renacci. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, well, let's break this down. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of all of this. Tell us the big parts of this plan that you think are so important for Americans.
Well, the big thing is we're dropping the corporate tax rate, which we have to. We have to be competitive across the world. I was a businessman for almost 30 years, and I can tell you the number one thing that we aren't is competitive now. That's why companies are inverting. So the more we can keep companies here, the more we can give them more money to be able to employ more people and grow, and the more we can make them maintain that competitiveness by having a lower tax rate. That's a start. The other thing we have to do is lower middle income tax rates so that people have more to help drive the economy. The goal of this tax plan is really to come up with a sustained growth plan, not just a short-term growth plan. So you drop the corporate rates so that we can have that sustained growth, and corporations aren't leaving anymore. They're staying here. In fact, wouldn't it be great if corporations from overseas came here because of our rate? And
we just saw a little bit of that from Singapore, I think just yesterday or the day before when the announcement was made. We're starting to see that happen, and I think people love that. Democrats, of course, are fighting this, saying that this is a cut for the rich, a cut for the people that are already doing great, and you're going to take it away from the people in the middle and the lower class. Explain to me why, in your opinion, I know you think they're wrong. Why do you think they're wrong?
Well, that's politics as usual. Yeah. I say that all the time. Wait, look, the Democrats are a minority. They want to get to the majority. Of course they're going to attack this plan. There's always good things in a plan and bad things in a plan, but here's the positive things in this plan. It does lower middle income tax rates, and that's important. The higher tax rates, the 39%, individuals, they're not going to get as much of a break as the lower income tax individuals, and that's what's important. So that's the key to this plan. We've designed it and worked on it to make sure the middle class they have more money.
But just real quick, how do they then make that argument that the middle class and the lower class are getting hurt on this? Where does that argument come from, is my question.
Well, you know, I've heard their arguments, and again, I'm a business guy and a CPA. I've done tax returns. I've driven businesses. I understand what it really does to have a lower tax rate, but also I understand the tax code, and I'm going to tell you, the things that we've put in here, the provisions for the child tax credit, the doubling the standard deduction, these are things that are going to help middle Americans. I'll be interested to see when the Democrats come up with their specifics. Now, they will, and they'll take shots at it because that's what they have to do in the minority. But in the end, I'm hoping they'll come on board and say, this is good for America. Get politics out of the way. Let's make sure we have a strong American economy.
All right, so we're going from 7 tax brackets down to 4 tax brackets. Republican Kevin Brady from Texas, Kevin Brady from Texas, he is a Republican. He says it will make possible for Americans to do their taxes on the form the size of a postcard. Well, that sounds nice, doesn't it? So cumbersome right now.
Well, that's absolutely another key issue. We've eliminated a lot of deductions, doubled the standard deduction. It makes it much easier, so a lot of people will be able to do it on a postcard, and that's the key, too. We've got to simplify this tax code for a lot of people that are working hard every day.
And did you, first of all, it's an aggressive desire by the president to have this done by the holidays. I want to ask you if that's feasible, and also for the purposes of budget reconciliation, did you guys have to give up much? I know that you had to stay within some constraints there.
Well, that was the big key. We had to meet a budget reconciliation number, $1.5 trillion, on a static basis, and I think that's important to know. And so a static basis means it doesn't take into consideration for growth. So we had to get down to that number. We had to work a number of things to get there. So the House will go to conference next week, or what I say conference, the committee. We'll do a markup next week, and hopefully we'll get this out of the House in the next couple of weeks. The Senate's doing their bill. Hopefully we can get a conference between now and Christmas and get something signed and delivered to the president's desk.
Well,
we're only some 50 days away from Christmas, right? That's what his babies do, so I know that.
That's right. That's an aggressive plan. Well, Congressman, thanks so much for coming on this morning very early. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay.